What's up, baby? We're going crazy. We're gonna read some theories about the new Kirby. This could be the intro, but it sounds cringe, so we'll make this quick. Hey guys, it's Toxic V. Here we go! Cue laugh track. So, yeah, hey guys, Toxic V here, and in today's video, we're going to be reviewing your Kirby theories. A few days ago, I made this community post, and yeah, I asked you guys to tell me about your theories about the new Magolor Epilogue. Here, wait, hold on, before we do start here, this is a mandatory. Thank you, Alphalin. Yo! Oh my god! Oh my Let's go, boys! Let's go! That's a new Magolor. Okay, anyway, that's enough hype for now. But yeah, my raw reaction if you haven't seen it. So, let's get to those theories. Alright, let's start this off with not even a theory, but holy moly, Magolor has ears confirmed. I can confirm that he does indeed have brown ears. Does that make him a cat? I don't know, but I think the fandom's gonna go wild and over this. Frankly, yes, Livy, he does indeed have ears. He indeed has ears. All right, well, before we get into the actual theories, there is a lot of different comments and everyone's giving out their own answers, but because obviously we're sort of united as a fandom, we've come to sort of similar conclusions. So let me preface this section by summarizing everything that I've skimmed over so far, and then we'll go over each of the comments individually, right? With some basic theories. The first, and probably the most obvious one, is that Magolor is stuck in another dimension, all right? And again, we're gonna go through this later, but he's stuck in another dimension, and the final boss will be Galactonite, or Aeon Hero. That's the safest take. The second take, which is, I think, more interesting, is that Magolor will be sent to that pocket of another dimension by the Master Crown, and will eventually either repair it or fight it as the final boss. So think Kirby GCN craziness. And then the third theory, which is my favorite, although I don't think it's true. I used to think it was true before this direct, but afterwards I don't think so. Magolor will be in the actual hell, like not just like HE double hockey sticks, and he will have to fight Morphonite. Whether Morpho absorbs Galactonite again is yet to be seen. Probably not, but he may have to fight Morphonite in Hell, which is a cool theory, but I don't know if it's actually going to happen. And the last one, it's not so much a theory, more so like just an observation. They're making a lot of references to Void Termina in this, from masks to horns, and we'll be getting into that later. So let's get into the first theory. Galactonite will 100% be the final boss. And let's see if we have one reply. I agree with this comment. So, yeah, Galactonite has usually been the final boss for all of the post-game, well, not all of them, but most of the post-game modes. Morphonite has been a replacement for him in recent days, but it would not be surprising to see Galactonite return in the Magolor Epilogue because, one, he has a boss fight in the true arena of the same game, or the original game, Kirby's Return to Dreamland, that just kind of happens and has no explanation whatsoever. So maybe Magolor Epilogue will give us an explanation as to why we fight Galactonite in the arena in the first place. And two, it would just be really cool to see him again. Knowing that Magolor seems to be stuck in another dimension, which is, I believe, sort of the general... Not even... Actually, no, it was shown in the demo, actually. Although the place was not called another dimension, it was called the space between dimensions, which is basically the same thing. But I think Galactonite breaking his prison and becoming the final boss against Magolor for him to escape back into Dreamland's dimension or some other dimension is probably the safest take that we can do here. Another comment from Joshi is Pug. I honestly think Galactonite will be the final boss. Morphonite is getting too old already. I was fine with Galactonite before. Morphonite was unexpected in Star Allies and Forgotten Land, but this time it will be too predictable. Even better, let's get a completely new final boss battle. Honestly, Joshi, you're kind of right. I think HAL, it would be in their best interest to mix things up. Having Morphonite 3 times in a row is cool, don't get me wrong, because everyone loves Mr. Lick My Balls, but yeah, I think it would be spicier to get another Galactonite or even an Aeon Hero fight as Magolor. Very interesting. Thank you, Joshi. Mr. Boxhead says, Luigi will be playable. Yo. Okay, that's a dumb theory. Let's move on to the next one. But actually, that would be hilarious if that was true. Okay, this one made me laugh. I like this one. The Curb Channel DDD says, you see my Galactonite cursor? Yeah. Magolor will fight Landia as a boss. Yeah, that's another safe take. I think I saw another comment, maybe we'll see it eventually in this chain, where that guy said Magolor will fight parallel Landia. But okay, the idea that Magolor fights Landia at the end has its reasons, and I can see that being a thing. especially after looking at the trailers, we're gonna get like parallel versions of some of the bosses, like volcanic Fatty Puffer and fishy Garaya somehow. So getting a Landia or another version of Landia within the space between dimensions, aka another dimension, would be very interesting, if not highly possible. So I think this theory holds its ground. Here, Asher Animate says, I've done figured it out. That shiny thing that flew into the portal Magolor fell into is the Master Crown. This means it's gonna place some type of impact on the new story mode. And honestly, I think that's the correct interpretation. I mean, what else could this thing be? Could it be like yeah, there's nothing. What is yellow, tiny, and I believe it has a green dot. I'm not looking at the footage right now, but if it does have a little green dot in the center, then it is more than likely the Master Crown, and I'm sure that it'll play some role. Some people are saying actually, well, we'll check it out later. But yeah, I just want to circulate these ideas into your guys' heads. Magolor will fight Marks by Kai Allen. Sorry if I'm butchering your name. Magolor will fight Marks to show a clash of chaos versus calculated evil, I suppose. That would be very interesting. Now, a thing about Magolor is that in the trailer, it's shown that he actually has Marx's super laser death beam thing, and maybe that shows like at least a relation between them, although I don't think it's possible. Let's see what the commenters have to say. That sounds awesome. The two big twist villains of Kirby duking it out. Super Kirby says, that would be neat, but they are already friends by the time of this game. It wouldn't make much sense if they fought, unless, of course, they are also traitors to each other. Classic Marks, bro. In which Marks probably ended up in the same place after his death, so that could actually work. Okay, so so Super Kirby brings up a premise that we aren't entirely sure of, but is most probable that Marks and Magolor were friends. Why is that? It's because in one cutscene, Magolor tells Kirby that a certain somebody told him all about the hero before he arrived in Dreamland, and we can assume this is Marks. Personally, I don't know if it's Marks. It's probably Marks more than likely. It could be DeRoche for all we know, but yeah, it's probably Marks. So that's just another aside. Deadly Dingus says, I don't know what. Maybe something. There we go. Something involving Marks. It would be interesting to see Magolor versus Marks, but I think like compared to other theories going on right now, I think this is less likely than even Morpho Knight or Void, because I don't really see Magolor fighting Marks. It would be cool again, but I don't see it. Maybe like a parallel Marks. Now that would be interesting, and that would imply a lot of things about what happened to Marks after he died at the end of Superstar. Let's see. Smallbean XOX2807 says, sad egg power gone egg, depression, egg get power back, egg fine, oh no, egg fight himself? And yeah, I think this is similar to other comments that have mentioned that Magolor might have to fight the Master Crown. So what am I talking about? So I believe it was in the art book for the canceled Kirby GCN game or some sort of leak. We got to see a beta version of Magolor that was never used. And if you know the history of how really likes using beta enemies and repurposing them into new enemies, like Morpho Knight is Meta Knight's beta design before he became a character. So we could see this beta Magolor being reintroduced as the final boss for Magolor Epilogue as a sort of reflection of Magolor, or the Master Crown, proving that it has memory, so to speak. Memory is an interesting power in the Kirby franchise. Void Termina and Fecto Elfless, and also Kirby by extension, have all shown the power of memory in using the summoned weapon. So the Master Crown could pull off something similar and make a dark version of Magolor as the final boss. Waya says, Magolor gets a redemption. Oh, I forgot to mention it at the top when we were talking about the theories. Yeah, so timeline placement is very interesting. I would say that, yeah, Magolor is probably going through this as his redemption arc. It seems to be what happens exactly after Magolor dies at the end of the story mode, right? When you fight Magolor Soul, sort of not Magolor Soul, but Magolor controlled by the Crown, and the Crown breaks and he just disappears into nothing. This cutscene is probably what happens directly afterwards to Magolor while the heroes escape. Magolor beans me in the back of the head with the Master Crown before cackling, "Fool! You have fallen victim to one of the classic blunders! The devilish lying fiend has gotten me once again." We can trust Magolor. I believe in second chances. I think Magolor can probably be trusted. Lamau. That's a good one. Alright, from Amadeus. Magolor is basically in hell and has to fight Morpho Knight, a bringer of judgment, to get out. So, where is this theory coming from? Because it seems like in the trailer that Magolor is in another dimension, and he's fighting the Doomers. So, is that hell? Well, we don't actually know where hell is in the game's canon, but in the novels, I believe my colleague Scorpion C137, sorry if I got your name wrong, he mentioned it he made a video about HAL and the Kirby series and how Morphonite is essentially a species of butterflies that cast judgment on people, which is kind of terrifying. So I wouldn't be surprised if, well, I don't know, it's like probably a 50-50 at this point if Magolor's in HAL or if he's just in a space in another dimension. But whether he fights Morphonite or not is a different story. Even if Magolor isn't in HAL, even if he's just in AD fighting the Doomers, Morphonite can go wherever he wants, right? He's a butterfly that can travel from other dimensions to and from. So I can see it being possible that we could fight Morphonite. But like Joshy said, it is getting a bit old, so I guess we'll see. Thank you for the comment, Amadeus. Quobalt says, ooh, Magolor doxes Morphonite and swats him. That's a good one. I mean, yeah, Morphonite does deserve a kind of a swatting for killing Galactonite, man. It was my favorite character, and Morphonite said, did you know Steve Jobs died from... Steve Jobs died from Ligma. What the heck? Who the heck is Steve Jobs? Ligma ball! Marius Gamer says, after the final fight versus Magolor and the Master Crown is a scene where you see Magolor disappear in the air. In that moment, the Master Crown steals the power of Magolor and creates a portal to an interdimensional world. Honestly, that would make a lot of sense. Because as we see in the trailer, Magolor still has his blue clothes before mysteriously these clothes get tattered and he falls into another dimension. Maybe the crown steals the last of his power since the crown was leeching on him during the final boss fight. Although I do think this is rather more of like a visual showcase of Magolor losing all of his powers rather than it being the crown doing stuff to him. You know, sometimes we think a little bit too hard about theories, and sometimes, you know, maybe Shinya Kumizaki just wants to do better storytelling, you know? Not so much on crazy lore. But this is a good theory, I like it. Vert9 says, the other 3 Magolors in multiplayer are alternate universe Magolors. This is possible. I don't like the idea of a multiverse, but it is true because we know that in the submodes for Kirby, these take place in alternate dimensions with alternate versions of Kirby and the other characters. So multiplayer being explained canonically as different Magolors from different universes working together to escape, it's a pretty good theory, honestly. I don't like it personally, but I think it makes a ton of sense and would be. I don't know if Shinya Kumizaki is like really insistent on trying to weed out all of the different questions. Like, oh, why are there 4 Magolors in this mod? Well, 1 for gameplay reasons, but 2 because they're from alternate dimensions. Again, very possible. I think Fur 9 brings up a very good theory here, but we just don't know yet, and I'm excited to figure that out too. Angry Birds Tanuki Gamer says, here's hoping the final boss won't be Morphonite. Come on, man. Come on, dude. Morphonite, man. We need a Ligma Balls joke again. I'm kidding. Hoshino Dreamer says, imagine a connection between Fecto Elfless and the Another Dimension. And I think the 4 Doomer boss is like Landia. A reskin, maybe? By the way, how Elfless and Mouse exists in Merry Magoland. There are 2 things we need to break down here. The 4 Doomer boss would bring that up later. Fecto Elfless, actually, yeah, there are 3 things we gotta break down here. And let's read the rest of the comments before I do my personal breakdown. Derek Matthews says, I think the events of Merry Magoland canonically happen post-game, so it's possible that it takes place after Forgotten Land. Yeah, that probably makes sense. I mean, Magolor probably would have taken some time to build the amusement park that he did. I like this one, and this one too. These are great theories. Joshy says, chances are Merry Magoland ain't canon. When if subgame has been canon anyways. Well, Joshy, the thing is, Magolor really does build an amusement park. Like that's canon, or at least not canon, but that's like implied. Of course, obviously, it's going to be a sub-mode, because why would Magolor building an amusement park be like the main plot of a Kirby game? That doesn't make any sense, but him building it is within character. He did say in the Dream Collection and also in Dreamland Deluxe, like, he actually is there doing an amusement park thing, so Merry Magoland finally coming in 2020, is it 2020? Oh my gosh, it is 2023, time flies so fast. It's very possible, but still, it's a good thing to bring up, it's important. Derek replies again, I mean, this is the first time there is an alternate entire area with an interactable NPC for the minigames. Yeah, but does it really mean much? Same thing was in Kirby Battle Royale. In that game, is that game canon? I don't think so. Joshy, I actually think Battle Royale is canon. In a way, it could be canon, it could not be canon. I'm not so sure. Actually, that's a good question. It is a weird game, but I tend to think that most of the spin-offs are canon and the sub-modes aren't. I think Meteor's made a video on that like some time ago, I don't really remember. Again, going back to Hoshino's question, Fecto Elfless and another... Honestly, I think the reason why they decided to remake Return to Dreamland, not just because of the 30th anniversary, but also because Fecto Elfless and Another Dimension are very much closely linked. I mean, look, the star-shaped portals. All of the attacks Vecto Alphaless does are very similar to Magolor's attacks from Return to Dreamland. There are so many connections, and I think Hoshino's making a very good point here. I don't think we're going to see Vecto Alphaless, but if anything, maybe Vecto is related to the Doomers, actually. I don't know. Speaking of the 4 Doomers, we get a little sneak peek of a new boss in Magolor Epilogue, which is essentially 4 seemingly, I would guess they're parallel Doomers, and their horns. Their horns look like the Aeon's Heroes' horns. And what do the Aeon Heroes' horns look like? They look like Void's horns, which is a very interesting connection there. This implies that there are connections between Vecto Alphaless and the Doomers and basically every. Oh my God, I'm just gonna post this. This is my mind right now. It's like milk right now. Anyway, Sega Man says, my assumption is that the Magolor Epilogue will be the reason Magolor. Okay, yeah, this is the safest take. Yeah, I agree here. This is like 100% confirmed the reason why he takes a new leaf. He undergoes so much suffering, and at the end of it, he probably comes out as a changed man, realizing that, well, I suppose he also might destroy the Master Crown if the Master Crown theory is correct. By the way, so he would be destroying the evil that he's sought for who knows how long. Optimus says, are we finally going to get to see what Magolor's species is? Yeah, it's cat ears. Magolor's a cat, confirmed. I'm kidding, he's not a cat. But he does have the funny cat ears, and I think it's cool that we've confirmed that. Now, is he related to Highness, though? I think yes. I think he is related to Highness, although his skin color is different from Highness's. Because they have the same prominent ears and the same, well, not the exact same physiology, but they must be related somehow. Luen says, I want this game to explain why Void Terminator used Master Crown. So, a bit earlier I mentioned the power of memory, which could be linked to Dream Matter, but that's another conversation on its own. But essentially, yeah, Luen is trying to figure out why Void Terminator used the Master Crown. And that implies a lot of premises, but let's just say that many, or at least 2 of the enemies we've seen in Magolor Epilogue have connections to Void Termina, that being the Doomers and these weird enemies with Void's mask. And at any rate, we know that Void Termina has the power to summon the Master Crown. The real Master Crown, if not just a memory version of the Master Crown. And so an explanation of this, I think, yeah, we'll probably might see some sort of ties there. Dimitri Mositis says, either Morphonite or Galactonite will appear at some point. Calling it right now, not 100% agree. I think we can all agree with you on that one, Dimitri. Cam DeGreat says, theory, Magolor will have a redemption arc over time as he realizes what he did was wrong. Maybe we will even get a backstory. Actually, that would be cool if we got some cutscene backstory for Magolor. The thing is, in these side modes, like from Forgo Dreams and Heroes in Another Dimension, really haven't gotten that many cutscenes except at the very end. It would be really cool. Maybe it would be like a 100% unlock sort of thing that they could do, but right now I'm not really seeing it. It's not as likely, but I would love for this to happen. Great suggestion from Cam. Aiden NG says, the final boss of Magolor Epilogue will either be Morpho or Galactonite, with new over-the-top super moves to match Magolor's humongous death lasers. Yeah, I think if anything, whether the final boss will be Morpho or Galactonite, these are the 2 most obvious candidates, we will definitely be seeing probably some new moves or something at least interesting to shift things up and to give us more lore. Because, you know, Shinya Kumizaki really likes to do some world building by giving characters specific attacks, like Galactonite with his space-time killing flash, or Morphonite being able to use Ultra Sword. Yeah. Dragon Master 8 says, when Magolor finally defeats the final boss and goes through the Star Portal, instead of landing in Dreamland, he's gonna land in the Smash Brothers universe? Yo! If only, bro. If only, bro. If only, bro. Imagine that. That would be funny if they announced Smash 6 that way, but no, I don't think that's gonna happen. I mean, Mr. Sakurai is like working on his YouTube channel right now, so I don't think we're gonna get a Smash 6 anytime soon, I'm afraid. Riggedy roo rah riggedy day says, the final boss is going to be a returning character who hasn't been in this game before. I know this is wishful thinking, but I predict it will be Morphonite, some form of dark matter, or a returning villain that, okay, so basically you're predicting everything. This is a summary of everyone's comments. So yeah, I think the most likely candidate will be Morphonite or Galactonite. Something referencing Void Termina will definitely make an appearance. I mean, we've already seen that in the Doomers and the Mask enemies. Or a returning villain that is, or Marks. We could fight Marks again. I believe that was towards the start of this video. We mentioned Marks. Connor says, okay, so my theory could be that Magolor is going through this portal, maybe facing off against Galactonite or Morphonite or something, and then Kirby and his friends would show up and help Magolor take them down for the final showdown, or Maybe like where Magolor meets Marks and seeing them fighting each other or something, or maybe helping each other to take down Kirby and his friends, maybe. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm so excited to see what's going to happen in this new Magolor mode, Magolor Epilogue. Okay, that's a lot to take in. I don't think Magolor will be fighting Kirby again because HAL doesn't really want us to have a boss fight versus Kirby and his friends so far. And I don't think it will be likely too, as Kirby and his friends are just chilling in Dreamland whilst Magolor is suffering in AD. He could meet Marks though. Again, another theory with Magolor and Marks being friends and helping each other. It's entirely possible. Kirby and his friends, however, coming to another dimension to help Magolor take down the final boss would be really cool, actually. I don't know if that's gonna happen, and I don't know how they would implement that, but if Kirby and friends were able to do that, I think that would make the redemption arc theory a lot more cohesive, I would say, if Magolor and Kirby are shown teaming up, rather than Magolor just escaping and building an amusement park, which would be funny. Reggington Mogus says, the final boss is another butterfly that tries to... Okay, I like this. Let's start another butterfly. This is the multi-Morpho Knight theory, which I subscribe to. As shown in the light novels, there are more than one Morpho Knight out there, and so having another butterfly that isn't the same as the Star Allies butterfly, nor the Forgotten Land butterfly, trying to take Magolor as a host, I think this makes a lot of sense. But, due to his newfound kindness after his adventure, he rejects it, so the butterfly turns into Cthulhu and throws time itself at Magolor. This is genuinely how my brain works. My good sir... Oh wait, sorry. My good sir, you have one of the brains ever. And I'll give him that. Okay, that's a good emote. Yeah, I can see that honestly happening. The butterfly landing on Magolor and not killing him will probably be a sign of his character development, and would be really good to show that he has redeemed himself. So, good theory from Reggington. Cinnabok says, theory. Magolor Epilogue takes place before he says he will build a theme park. He thinks about it. After going through all that agony, he'd want to make up with Kirby in some way. And that leads to... Ooh, okay, wait, okay, let's talk about this first part. Yeah, so talking about the timeline again, I am pretty sure Magolor Epilogue takes place right after Return to Dreamland, but before he builds the amusement park Merry Magoland. So I think this timeline, I think everyone can agree with. And that leads to Return Deluxe is all a movie. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, this is so special. Okay, what does he have to say? If Magolor already built the theme park as the story is canonically happening, clearly they're just playing out the story for fun after everyone made up. Oh, I see what you guys see what he means. Basically what he's trying... Okay, anyway, hold on. And this can be linked to Star Allies. Magolor's moveset in Epilogue is much like his Star Allies one, so maybe Star Allies takes place after it, considering he'll all be fine, his glorified moveset, considering that they're actually friends now. This can be linked to the lore. Oh, thank you for the timeline. We get Return to Dreamland, Magolor Epilogue, Dream Collection, Return Deluxe, Star Allies. So that's his wild theory that he made up. And yeah, are you guys enjoying the demo? Because I am. I played through most of it. Still haven't done Merry Magoland, but Wispy Woods EX, I actually died once to him. Not gonna lie. This is a good timeline. The idea that Return to Dreamland Deluxe is all a movie, I can get behind for various reasons. One, movies are real in the Kirby universe. We have the Waddle Dee Cinema from Forgotten Land. And two, in the title screen of the game, we can see Merry Magolor's castle in the distance. Not Magolor's, Merry Magoland. Which is weird, because it should not be there yet. It should only be... You would think it would only be there once the main story is completed. So either playing through the main story again is all a flashback, or it's a movie. And either one, I think that'll be left up to the viewer to make the decision on. Really, it doesn't have to be a movie. It could be like a storybook, or like just reliving the past events or something like that. But that's an interesting theory, Cinebox. This is probably the most unique one I've encountered. Thank you. Cassidy Schwezik says, maybe, hopefully, we might get more information on the Ancients. I still want to believe they have a connection to HAL Contra, and maybe now we can see them in action. Honestly, yeah, I can see that being the case. We probably will get more information on the Ancients, just looking at all the architecture in AD. Now, if we get some pause screen flavor text again, for them in specific areas, that would be even better. Although I imagine Shinya Kumazaki and the gang will want to keep the Ancients information as secret as possible. Thank you for the good theory, Cassidy. Big YouTube fan says, I think this is what happens to him after defeating him. The original game never told us what happened to him after that point. We assumed he was dead until Dream Collection was released, but we don't know how he survived. I assume that's why you can only do it after completing story mode. Exactly. So again, just like Cinebox said, this takes place right after Magolor gets defeated, but before he opens up that amusement park, and as seen in Dream Collection. Asher Animate says, the thing that fell into the rift with Magolor has got to be the Master Crown, meaning the main story collectible must be related to the crown in some way. Perhaps some entity within interdimensional space will use it, and Magolor will have to destroy the crown to return home. This makes a lot of sense. Right, so, like, how... Yes, this makes a lot of sense. This makes... a lot of sense. I like this theory. It's good. It's good. Just, again, building off what we've talked about previously. Sasudu Kabir says, my theory is that this arc happened before the 25th anniversary game. After that, it became good Magolor. Also, Kirby can say, Waya! The Metal says, I'm calling it Master Crown is the final boss. Alright, so let's dive deeper into this Master Crown theory. Your concept? It uses itself to create projections of the numerous dark matters we fought in the series to fight Magolor? Mango! With each illusion, chocolate egg okay, alright. I like, this is a funny concept. Yes, my mango chocolate bar killing the final boss, the evil crown deity. Then the Master Plan lectures on the Magolor's last ditch effort, and Magolor has to fight his inner evils in his mind. Ooh, okay, I like this. Yeah, this is a good explanation of how Magolor redeems himself and, like, how the Master Crown will be involved. I like this. I like this. I would be sad if we don't get Galactonite or Morphonite, but the Master Crown as a final boss is a solid third theory, I would say. Michael Sleeman says, since the epilogue has been shown to have Magolor as the main character going through space between dimensions, I think it's literally the main threat being the Dooms... repeat, I think it's likely that the main threat is the Sphere Doomers. They are threats that occurred while Kirby and the gang were in another dimension to stop Magolor, but they weren't notable as the gang were using Landia. That is true, the Doomers were relatively easy to defeat here, but as we can see in the trailer, Magolor will be fighting a lot of Doomers. This leads me to believe, oh yes, so Landia, who is powerful enough to keep the Master Crown in check, that's probably why they're on the same power level as the Doomers and able to resist them. This leads me to believe that the unique Doomers were actually very powerful and could be a unique challenge throughout the campaign, leading to the final Doomer being the one that has the actual shards of the... Oh, shoot. Wait, he has a point, actually. We know that the Doomers are attracted to energy of all types, particularly ancient energy, which is why they like the spheres and why the Grand Doomer takes the mask part. But if a Doomer eats the Master Crown, what happens? I don't want to think about that, but that would be interesting. Creating a simulacra of how Magolor fought Kirby. Maybe after defeating it, it opens a rift similar to the one that sent him into space between dimensions. This probably strands him in Dreamland, as he no longer has the lore, so he can't easily leave Dreamland or Planet Popstar, but then again, there's probably worse places to be stranded on, and knowing King Dedede's relationship with Kirby, I'm sure Magolor can get on his good side with a slice of strawberry shortcake. Actually, that'd be funny, like, if there was actually, like, if in the entire epilogue, Magolor shows no signs of character development, but at the very end, he just gives Kirby a strawberry shortcake and they call it a day. Imagine. Good theory, Michael. I like this one. Paintone says, Magolor may be in some sort of... so this is the HELL theory explained a little bit deeper. Pre-afterlife or it has always been a theory that he went somewhere like that after his fight, and as you pointed out in your reaction, the Clover-like leaves do look a lot like Butterfly. They do, guys. Like, I can't unsee it. So you know who might be making an appearance? Also, both Magolor, Soul, and Morphonite have some very similar Ultra Sword attacks. Yes, this is all true. All true. So again, the Master Crown theory is good. The Galactonite theory is the safe pick, but the HELL theory to me is the most interesting one. Although, no, I mean, like, the way Metal explains the crown theory is honestly super cool. Yeah, but anyway, there's so many theories, Just the Kirby Stan says, I don't have theories, but I would love to see our friend Morpho absorbing Magolor and Kirby and his friends fighting to save him. I'd pay for them to make something like Forgo Dreams, like a parallel amusement park. I mean, we already got Forgo Park, but, you know, it would be nice to see that again. Mr. Moneybag says, oh, I think this is the last comment. The final boss will either be a revamped version of Magolor's first phase with the GCN, or a completely new boss using the beta design of Magolor's boss form. Oh, excuse me. I'm pretty sure it's one of the last few things from GCN that have yet to be used in a mainline game. So having it appear in the remake of Return to Dreamland would make sense, since Return to Dreamland is the culmination of a lot of GCN elements. Right on, Moneybags. Right spot on. Another version of the crown theory is entirely possible. There's so many theories right now, but thank you guys for sticking to the end. Feel free to leave any comments that you have in the comment section. We can have a great fruitful discussion about Kirby lore as we move into the release of the game and finally getting our hands on Magolor Epilogue. Let's end it with this. UltraCat Mobile says, as a wise man once said, but that's just a theory, a game theory. Thanks for watching.